a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here with us at the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host for the day, Alex BlackBelt Lima with BlackBelt Fitness and Martial Arts, filling in for your consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. You know what we do here on the show? We bring you guys, the Bay Area listeners, experts from all different categories. Today we have Jason Avery of Avery Construction, and he also has a very successful consulting business as well that we're gonna touch base on. We don't get to hear too much about that one, but I'm gonna pick his brain about it today. And then we should also have Jenny Restrepo coming on the air. She's a fan favorite, right? Always comes in and tells her little true crime segment here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Let's see what we got. But before we do, I would like to showcase some of the properties available from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. For those of you that don't know, Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, they run the best real estate team here in the state of Florida, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. We'd like to showcase for you 501 Haben Boulevard. It is a residential property. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. I'm sorry, it's a Haben Boulevard, 501 Haben Boulevard Unit 803. Got to be specific. 803 is the one that's for sale. 2-bedroom, 2-bath, flexible office space, and 1,543 heated square feet on this property. Kitchen showcases real wood cabinets, granite countertops, and stainless steel appliances. Sweeping panoramic views extending from the Manatee River to the Riviera Dunes Marina, as well as the tranquil community lake. Amenities include a heated pool, climate-controlled storage, under-building parking, a picturesque putting green, and an entertainment patio. Hurricane impact windows and sliders, and the community features an electronically guarded entrance. It's a possibility of a rental or purchase of the slips at Riviera Dunes Marina as well. So 501 Haben Boulevard, Unit 803 in Palmetto, residential property from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Another property we'd like to showcase for you is 37351 Neighbors Path. This one is in Zephyr Hills, Florida. It's a 3,488 square foot home, open concept floor plan, 6 bedrooms, 4.5 bath, mother-in-law suite. It's sitting on a large yard. It's on 1.2 acres, which is awesome. We love having our property, right? Stone counters. This home is beautiful and it is ready to sell. 37351 Neighbors Path, Zephyr Hills, Florida. You can see all the properties available from the Platinum MVP team at platinumcoastalalite.com. Buy dirt. Buy dirt. Find one you can't live without. That's right. If all this stuff doesn't work out for me, I'll just become a country music star. Maybe that's what I'll do. All right, Jason Avery, Avery Construction. What's up, man?
What's happening?
Yeah.
So I for people listening on the radio that aren't watching the podcast and the follow-up video, they never get to see these listings, man. Some of these, Brandon has some amazing properties for sale. It's pretty crazy.
Beautiful homes,
and then you go into the buy dirt. I tell you what, that's a sore subject with me right now. I'm actually building out what's going to be a therapeutic spa right outside of downtown Brooksville.
I remember you talking about that.
It's going to be my wife's new business.
Yeah.
And right at the moment, I'm in the process of a septic tank, and they made me put it above ground with the mound. So I've had to buy 12 truckloads of dirt.
So you have bought literal dirt.
Buy dirt. I did. And what's more disappointing about that is that next week we have to start the site work where we have to dig a retention pond on the property and remove dirt.
So the next you're going to buy a shovel?
They wouldn't let me take the dirt out of the hole and put it over the top.
No way.
Because of too much clay. It needed to be filtered sandy dirt.
Well, Jason, you got to use regulation dirt. Everybody knows that.
Right. So, my world in Avery Construction is more about remodeling.
Yes.
And so we tear houses apart. We put them back together. I'm not really building new homes on new sites. I'm not. I renovate commercial spaces that are the buildings there. I'm just taking the cubby hole the people leased.
Just sprucing it up.
So I don't do site work, and so I'll tell you what, that was quite the shocker. And
now you've confirmed why you don't do site work.
We purchased was a home in the 50s, 1,200 square foot rectangular box. Should be so simple, it's the easiest remodel I do all year long. And I knew what I had to do for ADA. It had been rezoned commercial, but the building wasn't to commercial standard. I knew what I had to do there, but I had no idea they'd make me dig a darn retention pond in this property. And so, but hence this is the world of construction that I live in and how customers feel. I'm the customer in this particular case, when things catch them off guard.
Yeah.
So at Avery Construction, we try very hard to have a very thorough and exact spreadsheet to begin with, a very thorough and exact scope of work. and a visual plan where it's documented and noted, and you can see it with your own eyes. You try to make it like kindergarten. It's just so simple that everybody can understand this, what's included and what's not. So there's no room for uncomfortable conversations, aka change orders.
Think about how much you just increased your credibility, though, because now you truly sympathize with and emphasize with the client coming in. Hey, look, I've been on the receiving end of having to do these last minute changes. I'm telling you,
I do, and it's where every other thing's another expense. The architect for that project never mentioned anything about it. The plans examiner at the building department never mentioned anything about it. But now here you get to the finish line of a completed permit, and then you're getting ready for a health inspector to get an establishment license, and then you find out, because you added an infrared light therapy booth, you now must also have a shower in the building. Well, that would have been nice to know, 9 months ago in the planning process.
We would have handled this.
So, again, customers do not like change orders. That's uncomfortable. So that's where our emphasis is on trying to be 100% predictable, or at least being able to pre-qualify and call out those things that could potentially cost more.
You have to be transparent.
And if it did cost more, how much more are we talking about? And that's where a lot of other contractors fail. You had brought up the consulting side. We could talk about that, but that's the kinds of things that we're trying to prevent. And because in the spirit of Halloween that just passed by, everybody's heard a horror story about a contractor before, right? Yeah. And especially here in Florida, it's a tough game, tough market that we live in.
Man, it's nuts. It is crazy, but when you have a credible company like Avery Construction, and that's the thing, credibility, that's a huge one too. And I'm not talking about just that, like you're a knowledge base and like, no, this guy gets the work done and looks good. Licensing, insurance, like making sure things are done right, because there's so many shady people out there, man, that shouldn't be in the business. For
the consumers that we're trying to protect here on this program, the number one thing you got to look for is, do they have an actual contractor's license? Because there's so many guys that call themselves the handyman, and they really don't have the qualifications to do a lot of the things that they stretch to do.
Right.
And we hear about it like once a year, where Hillsborough or Pinellas County will have a big sting operation. They'll set up a house. They'll invite a bunch of guys over there to bid work, and even on the phone while they're on their way over, the sheriffs are trying to talk them into what else they might do when they're there, and see where they go with that. And then they'll send a bunch of people away in cuffs, threaten to take away their trucks. In the end, the judge gives them a bit of a slap on the wrist, because this is a guy just trying to earn a living.
Yeah.
But you have to protect the licensed contracting, because the down the line effect to the customer, like, somebody wires up some things in your house, and then your house burns down.
Yep.
Is your insurance company going to deny you the claim, and now you're completely out of pocket for all your possessions of the world?
Yep.
What about if they do some shoddy plumbing, and then it floods the house later while you're out of town? You don't catch the problem for a couple of weeks, and everything's ruined, and then now that rolls into mold.
Yep. Just shoddy work, period. I actually had a couple of years. Well, this is more than a couple of years. We're talking about maybe 5 years ago at least. Back, I had a master bathroom redone. Company came in, that was horrible. I wish I would have known you. I would have hit you guys up for sure. But at the time, and now I'm seeing the repercussions of the shoddy work. Like, they're literally like around a lighting fixture. I guess it wasn't sealed correctly. So in the bathroom, all that moisture, you're getting some like some mold development. Something as simple as that.
So I like to believe in my heart that most people out there have good intentions. There's a few a few crooks in the world, but I think for the most part, a lot of these contractors had good intentions, and they do have some skills, and they think they know how to do this industry right, but just by not being exposed to enough of it, they haven't seen it all yet. Definitely. And so therefore things are able to surprise them, and but from the customer's perspective, their attitude is, well, you should have known. And you should have known. So
a lot of time, and they don't want to lose the bid on the job either. So they're like, they don't want to admit that, hey, we don't know how to deal with this. So they're going to do their shoddy fix around to make it happen.
So that they do sometimes discount their stuff when they shouldn't have, trying to be aggressive to get the job, because there's already a number of things that need to be in that job that they haven't considered yet. And so if I'm the owner operator swinging the hammer by myself, how many jobs can I possibly do at one time, and how many more can I go out and sell with the time I have in my hands? I might be doing a job or two a month.
Right.
And at Avery Construction, there's 20 open jobs right now with a dozen crew leaders and multiple helpers out there, subcontractors on jobs, some of them waiting for inspectors. There's another 20 jobs that we've already wrapped up. We're just getting final inspections and final punch out. There's another 20 jobs that are getting ready to start. That We've got plans and permits underway. And so just by sheer volume of exposure, I tend to think we've pretty much seen it all.
Yeah.
But I can't even say that we have seen it all because it never fails. There's always a surprise. There's always something you're like, wow. Until you put that particular new wall covering with that particular new floor option with that particular trim carpentry, you can't see what the challenge is. That doesn't really go together nicely. Now what are we going to do? You have to be able to pivot. You have to be solution-oriented and creative sometimes. And you have to be a good communicator. I think that's the biggest failure right up front. These guys just don't recognize everything they need to know. They don't communicate the do's and don'ts of the job, what is and what isn't included well enough.
Yeah.
They wrote a vague description and put a total price to it. You don't know what you're paying for what.
Right.
And I knew a guy like that in my past that he did it on purpose. And, because he said, well, then when you find some things you forgot about, you got the wiggle room to get out of it.
To hit him, yeah.
So I was the guy that had to clean up his messes, and I didn't like those uncomfortable conversations with customers where they were rightfully mad at me, and I didn't, I had to try and defend something that I didn't agree with.
Sure.
And so when I got out on my own, that was the very first thing I did, is start breaking down and itemizing things to the smallest little chunks that people could absorb and understand. That way there's no question about what are you paying for what. If we need to change something, we know exactly what's fair to you, what's fair to me, how can we handle this. And so, and I always felt like that was good for my sales presentation too, because you're not just saying, well, the demo is $5,000, and they think, well, gosh, that seems like a lot for a demo. Yeah. No, you're saying, okay, the labor of the demo was only $3,000, but then I've got $1,000 worth of dumpsters, and I got $500 in my porta potty that I have to have out there. And
right. I need you to understand what this costs, so that you see how this works.
So you really understand how much work it takes, and what goes into these projects, because most people have a pretty unreasonable expectation.
They don't know.
They just don't know.
Yeah, let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, I want to hear about how we got into the whole consulting side of things, how we went from Avery Construction to consulting, and how our success is there. So don't touch that dial. Coming back right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, some more with me, Alex Lima, and Jason Avery. See you guys in a minute.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 727-263-3707. Online at consumerqb.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
I want to give a special thanks to Satellite Phone Store. They just hooked me up with this beautiful satellite phone, and it's a gorgeous phone. It's a great device. It's a safety device as well. Think about it. If you're out on the boat 40, 50 miles out, maybe you're going hunting or you're going hiking in the woods somewhere, you run out of cell phone service, or who knows, maybe a possible terrorist attack. It's not like our politicians aren't entrenched in all this stuff going on overseas, all over the place, all over the world. Could be a terrorist attack. They could attack the power grid. They could attack the cell phones. Who knows what they're going to attack next. Sat123.com/REQB. Sat for satellite. Sat123.com/REQB, like real estate quarterback.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
And we're back. Yeah, don't forget, give us a call. You can call us. You can check out the website, consumerqb.com, and the YouTube channel. Definitely check out the YouTube channel. You can just get on YouTube and you can type in Consumer Quarterback Show. All our episodes will pop up. You can type in Brandon Rhymes Consumer Quarterback Show or REQB. It will pop up, and you will see a wealth of knowledge. I mean, it is literally like I can't even describe it, but you click on it. It's a library. It's a master library of all the experts that we've had on and the things that we've spoken about throughout the years on the show. Over 10 years now doing this stuff, so there's a lot of knowledge on there that you want to go and check out. So before we get to our some more knowledge here with Jason Avery, let's talk about some of the properties available from the Platinum MVP team. 9749 Little Blue Stem Drive in Lando Lakes, Florida. 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage, 2,334 square feet. Beautiful home. It's 2 stories in the coveted Connerton community. The kitchen's got a big island, big counter space, abundant cabinets, got a walk-in pantry, large backyard, sheltered rear porch. The community itself has dual pools. One of them is a lap pool, so you can get your swim on, right? Maybe we got the next Olympian is training in that pool right now, with a splash park. It's got miles of trails and an on-site elementary school. 9749 Little Blue Stem Drive in Lando Lakes, Florida. Another property we'd like to highlight is 7300 Shoreline Boulevard. This one is so cool when you see the pictures. It's very colorful and vibrant. 7300 Shoreline Boulevard in Weeki Wachee, Florida. It's a commercial property, and it also has a residential lot included on the premises. It's got 5 fully furnished waterfront suites. All the kayaks and furnishings, they're included. It's situated on 2 lots in a picturesque and serene location with river access right from the dock. Expansive 60 feet of prime waterfront on the Weeki Wachee River. The Springs is really close by. It's near Pine Island. It has a community of local restaurants, bars, and live music, and pristine sunsets ready to be witnessed right there on 7300 Shoreline Boulevard, Weeki Wachee, Florida. And you can see all the properties available from the Platinum MVP team at platinumcoastalelite.com. Buy dirt.
Buy dirt. Find a one you can't live without.
That's it. I'm going places. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going to them. All right, Jason Avery. So tell me, man, we talked a little bit about the construction side of things. How do we get into the consulting side of things, and how's that going?
Well, I guess it goes back to when I was a kid. My mom was a kindergarten school teacher for 25 years,
Okay.
who eventually became the elementary director of elementary education here in Hillsborough County.
No way.
But back in Indiana, when she was a teacher, she used to take me to class with her. And honestly, I guess teaching has just been sort of built in. I got into business networking to try and grow and enhance my construction company and my cabinet factory, and in networking I became very good at it, and then eventually became part of a training team teaching other entrepreneurs how to perform in the networking environment, how to move your relationships beyond visibility through credibility into a profitable relationship with people. Identifying what are the best relationships we should have, and how to get to them and nurture them. Teaching people that going out networking is not about hunting. We're not just trying to go out and make a sale today. It's about farming. I'm planting some seeds. I'm going to water them. I'm going to nurture them. Eventually, it's going to bear fruit. It's a lot of fruit that keeps feeding me, and so I really enjoyed teaching others. I found that when I would lead a class of 30 people, it could be 2 years later that I'd be at a random event, and people from that class would approach me and be like, "You taught me, something great back then." And I can't separate this person from the hundreds of others that I've taught, but they still remembered me.
Something resonated
and I
with
liked
them.
having that impact on people and being able to change their life, where they perceived that I really did something for them, that they were able to go on and do bold and amazing things with themselves. So that makes me feel good, and then makes me think more about my legacy in life as a whole. What kind of a mark am I going to leave on this planet? I mean, when my kids and my grandkids are gone, will anybody remember my name?
Yeah.
And I this is, I guess, where I'm edging towards. I see myself just like Tony Robbins, and being able to fill an auditorium of people.
Nice.
Thousands in front of me, and be able to just inspire and motivate and drive people to go on and do something more than they would have done if they hadn't met me.
If you believe it, you can achieve it.
I do think
There it
so.
is.
So I guess the real catalyst to opening the consulting company specifically, though, I was at a speaking engagement, and I listened to an author who said, if you want to be the expert in your industry, write the book on it. So it really got in my head, and I created the book.
Literally wrote the book on it. We have a Constructing Success Blueprint for a referral-based business. #1 best-selling book by
It
Jason
was.
N.
I
Avery.
hit #1 in business management for a day, and on
counts.
Kindle.
That
On
counts.
Kindle, but it was
counts.
enough to give me a stamp, and so But the book isn't just about construction. It speaks to all entrepreneurs about building a business that's based off relationships, and then it does comparisons. Like if you're the AC technician, your relationship relationship is perceived to be a couple of days. You're going to tear out the unit, put in the new unit. If something's wrong with it, you're going to fix it up tomorrow.
Right.
But it's what you would think is a quick and easy relationship. In the book, I'll go on to show you why. Should that be the end of the relationship, or should you be maintaining another form of relationship with the client until they're ready for the next AC unit?
Yeah.
Because people are going to buy more than one in a lifetime.
Of course.
Or their kids will, or their friends will, and their family will. So how do you perceive the relationship, and how are you going to maintain it? I compare it to the other extreme, like a financial planner. You're going to have a relationship for the next 50 years of my life because you're the one managing my money and my retirement, my ability to eventually get out of the game. So when you have these relationships, there's going to be emotional highs and emotional lows. We're people, and things affect us in life, and we might not react at our best sometimes. And so if you look at this almost like a roller coaster ride with all the hills and valleys in it, and I try to help people dissect that and break it down, and I use my business as the example. We have about a 3 to 6 month relationship with the client.
Yeah.
And from the point when they first decide they're going to remodel, it's like, yay, they're excited. This is going to be fun. Until they discover that the husbands and the wives don't agree with each other.
Right.
How much are we going to spend? Where are we going to put it? What color is it going to be? And so that creates friction. That brings us down to an emotional low.
Things that you think would have been agreed upon before we started this project.
Exactly. In my business, I've had to get pretty good at marriage counseling for this reason. So then we get through that and we get a contract. Yay! Looks like we got there. But they got to go out shopping for a bunch of other parts and pieces. There's more friction. Yay! We're going to start the job. Then we're going to tear your house apart. And let me tell you, if most of my customers in remodels are living at their house while we're remodeling. Yeah. So it's like, living in a construction site is like camping.
It's unpleasant.
Camping could be fun for a weekend.
Yeah.
Camping sucks if you have to do it for months on end.
Mm-hmm.
So especially you're getting that picture, you're getting your midnight snack and you're walking across a cold concrete floor with your bare feet because we've torn out all the flooring. Yeah. You're going to have to pull the plastic off your fridge that we use to protect it, and the dust is going to fall. Yeah. And then the next morning you're making your coffee on the bathroom vanity. It's just kind of gross. And you can't find all your stuff because it's tucked away in corners. You're stressed out because you're being taken away from work.
I've been there. The number one thing you're going to hear is, I want my house back. Can I get my house back? Yeah. Exactly. How long is it going to take? I want my home back.
So understanding lots and lots of highs and lows. When you get paint on the walls, they think you're almost done and they're excited again, but you're far from done. Sure. And when you're done, they're sick of it. They want you to go home. They don't want strangers showing up at 8 o'clock tomorrow while you're in your jammies.
Yeah.
And so we've learned how to get through this process, how to discover where the lows are and how to better prepare them for the lows so that we can catch them as they're falling. And then even at the end, when we're leaving them on a low, they're spending the last final check with too much money. It's taken too long. They're just sick of it. We wait a couple weeks. We go back. We bring them gifts. We take beautiful pictures of their home and compliment them on what a great job they did on picking out all the colors. Yeah. And really
leave on a good note.
Try to bring that relationship back to where we started. Back to a high note. And so, in the book, it teaches that to all entrepreneurs and how to dissect this about your business. How long does your timeline last? What are the hazards? What are you going to do to prevent those hazards? Or it's like playing chess. You've got to be 2 moves ahead of the customer.
Yeah.
So that was the basis of the book, and as I was developing the book, I had it reviewed by a speaker, author, coach, and said, what do you think? What's the call to action? And he goes, well, what's next? What are you going to do next? If they like what they heard in the book and they want more, what are you going to offer them? And I guess that's really how the birth of the consulting company came about, was the follow-up step to the book. Over time, what it's become is my personal stance on trying to improve the impression of my industry, because that we talked about earlier, horror stories about contractors. Yep. They're all out there, and it's usually these guys are good. They just don't know how to run a business. They don't know how to build a team. They don't know how to manage financials. They don't know how to document well to communicate. That gets them in trouble.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to fix.
No, I like that, man. I like that. So how do people reach out to you, buddy?
Construct-success.com. Again, construct-success.com.
All right, there you go. Jason Avery, construct-success.com. He can help you out with your business, help you take it to the next level, or you can always hit him up as well for maybe you want to come in and have him do some remodeling for you, have your house looking pristine for the next engagement and event at your home. Coming up next, we're going to have Jenny Restrepo. Don't touch that dial, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to My Daddy's Show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals.